Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Okay, so I'm going to give you a very brief idea on what are we planning on doing in next milestones. These are 4 bullet points, 1, 2, 3, 4, will be attempted in coming days. Not necessarily in this order, but in some form or some order that we will decide as we go along. So one of the things that we realized in this whole concept of electronic filing of W-9 and 1099 is that we have yet to test with the real IRS, right? And we already have accounts with the IRS in both the systems. IRS has 2 systems. One of them is called FIRE system. The other is called IRIS system. So far in our own software development, we were able to create the electronic file in ASCII file format that is acceptable by the IRS file system, right? And we have also developed 2 different mechanisms of validating as if our files are precise and accurate or not. So by the use of validators, we have a level of confidence that when these files will be sent to the real IRS for the testing purposes, that they will work or not. So that is the level of confidence we have so far. But as of now, we have not yet been able to test it with the real IRS as far as the FIRE system goes. The next system the IRS has, for which we already have been given permission and account, is called IRIS. And this IRIS system has 2 parts or 2 methods and 2 mechanisms. One is a front end via graphical user interface, GUI based, and that system accepts CSV files, right? Before we had the ASCII files. Now with the IRIS system, a user who is authorized to upload file can upload CSV files. So we are planning on sending the CSV files through the IRIS upload system, right? Then they also have something called A2A, application to application system, which is more automatic electronic filing of 1099 and all the information reporting, PDFs and all those things. So that A2A system works with the language called XML, right? So as of now, our team is in the process of getting familiar. Some of you may already be familiar, and some of you may need to get familiar to be able to create XML files. XML files are basically nothing else but a type of HTML file, a more advanced version of HTML files. You have seen in an HTML file, you have headers, you have footers, you have tags, right? And in each tag, when you define the tag, then you can do certain things, like you want to create an anchor tag, so you define those anchor tags, right? So those tags, similarly, if you want to bold the text, if you want the text to be bold, you have a tag for bold. You may generally be familiar with that. So those are industry standard tags that are being used. What XML allows you to do is basically allows you to create your own tags. So when you create your own tags, how would the other people, other programmers, other folks, other softwares know what is your tag, because this is a language that you're defining. So what you do is you create the definition of those tags. Okay, so when you decide that, okay, I'm going to define a tag to talk about 1099 miscellaneous, or I want to define a tag to define a parameter of 1099 NEC, right? Remember, you have record types and all in ASCII. Remember those?
Yes.
Right? So similar record types you want to define. So when you're defining your own, how would the other people know that this is your own? So that's where in XML you also define, you create a definition file of those tags. In previous versions of XML, those files were called DTD, data type definitions. Now the new name for similar files is called XML schema. So XML schema is nothing else but a dictionary that explains to you what is the meaning of a tag, right? And in our case, we do not have to invent the XML tags for ourselves. We will just follow the tags that IRS has already defined in their XML, simply XML schema, and then we'll go about creating those XML files. The good thing that we have already done is we have, in my understanding, mastered the mechanism of accepting the user data from the front end, taking it to our database, and then moving it in various stages of the database, right? Remember that? We were moving to, first of all, replica tables, and then to the transformation tables, and then to the core tables, and then from there we were moving the data to reporting tables. So data is already there in the reporting tables. All we have to do is to give our AI the XML schema from the IRS and say, hey, this is the XML schema. These are the rules. These are the tags you have to follow. Now, the data which is already in our reporting tables, take that data and convert it into XML files which are acceptable by the IRS. The good thing is that these XML schema files and by the use of our software IDE, we'll be able to identify if our XML that we are creating as an output, is that compliant or not. So the compiler, just like you are doing software development, the XML, so you will be able to find out if there is a bug, right? If there is an error in your code, right? Similarly, because of the use of those XML schema files, our IDE will be able to tell us, oh, the file is not compliant, so we need to fix this, fix that, and we'll be able to quickly fix those things. So that's the general concept of IRS file system and IRIS XML system. So I hope you get an idea on what we're planning on doing as well as the IRS thing. This also includes all the other things that we may also be doing. One of them would be called TIN matching, which is a way to verify the text identification number of various participants in the system with what is there in the IRS database. So this is just a brief overview as far as IRS e-file system. The next thing that we are planning on doing is that we would like our main website, which is called MyPowerly, we want to make it available to other businesses who would like to make it like a white label and be able to resell our products and services under their brand names. Perhaps they may be better than us in marketing a large audience of jobs. So in order to attend to their needs, we are planning on creating a white label option for our clients and customers who may be interested in that. The third thing that we are focusing on is integration of our W9 and 1099 modules with the rest of the other softwares in other places. One of the big one is WordPress, which is made in PHP. Shopify is another one, and there are hundreds of apps and software that are already there in PHP. So we are planning on integrating with all of those. Then another thing that we are planning on doing is integration via Zapier and NA. And our team has already played quite in detail with Zapier. There may be a few things that we may still need to work on in terms of webhooks or whatever is remaining. But we have the level of confidence in our team to be able to integrate with the Zapier. So the next thing in our list would be NA10. So this is just an overview of what we are planning on doing in coming a week or 2 weeks time period. That's what it is. So that's where the video ends.